Hi there. One of the best extracurricular programs in all of Cochise County is the FFA program at Benson High School. They just recently came back from, I believe, the state competition. They were with a beloved teacher who's kind of led the program for a long time, and this has been the source of a lot of consternation and
hmm
controversy in Benson these days. Terri Jo, can you just kind of fill in the blanks there on what's going on?
Sure. So Jessica Zamudio is an ag education teacher. She's been a teacher for the last few years. She came up through the Benson FFA program herself because her father ran it for years. She also then became the FFA advisor. And she was put on administrative leave the middle of February. And the way that that works with educators is put on paid leave. You are told to keep your mouth shut and you don't know why, because it's the beginning of a review. Some people call it an investigation. I'm calling it a review because we were told immediately that she was not under any criminal investigation. And when people hear investigation, Matt,
Right.
they think criminal. So we didn't know. Actually, she didn't know even until late last week what the allegations were against her. Those could become public in the next week or so if Ms. Zamudio decides to fight the disciplinary action, which at this point we know that that means they're moving to terminate her. It's not been announced, but if they were just going to do some kind of disciplinary thing internally, like, hey, we're going to put you on an employee improvement plan, they wouldn't. The school board or the school administration wouldn't have to take that to the school board. They're going to be taking it to the school board. She's been advised of that. She's been given a few days to process what the allegations are and decide what she wants to do. And keep in mind, this is just allegations that the school district is putting against her either as a teacher or in her role as an FFA advisor. Anything outside of that, anything that might deal with the USDA, the Department of Education, civil rights issues that the Attorney General's office would investigate, all of those we're hearing. The school district's not going to worry themselves with that. They're only looking at, she's an educator with us. Are we going to keep her on staff or not? Unfortunately, this vacuum that occurred because nobody knew for a month, she didn't know for a month what the allegations were. You had parents, particularly, and then some students, kind of filling in the gaps
Right.
themselves. And everybody's like, we love her, we love her. You can't be doing this. Shame on the administration. But they didn't know any of the details. It was all rumors, innuendos. And I think folks are going to be in for a pretty big surprise next week as more becomes public. They'll now understand what the allegations are, what the situation is, and more specifically, why the school would decide not to just try to work with her and keep her in the
That's the
class.
interesting thing. I mean, okay, so what just in a broad stroke, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we know a little bit about what
Sure.
is alleged here. What in a broad stroke, what is the allegation?
So we have allegations that impact her both as an educator for conduct as an educator. Again, we're not talking criminal conduct, but just inappropriate. She's a young educator. Being too friendly with some students, showing favoritism to some students, maybe not making the students do all of the required coursework that they need to do in certain programs. And then from an FFA advisor position, there's financial, there's a lot of money that comes through FFA, and how decisions are made, who to spend that money on, favoritism there, maybe some protocols that weren't followed, or maybe some protocols that were supposed to be in place and never got put in place. So again, a situation where, as I understand, this isn't the first time some concerns have been brought up, and now the school is kind of in a situation. And this isn't something that just that was triggered. They put her on paid leave in mid-February. I have confirmed from two sources that complaints were actually made last fall. It took that long for everyone to go through the due process, both to protect students and parents, but also the teacher herself, because you don't want to rush to judgment and then find out that something was not true.
So I guess the most, I guess, concerning part about that would be anything kind of monetary in terms of the money coming in. I mean, favoritism, if you want to call it that, or just sort of behavior in the classroom that's not, you know, borderline criminal, is like, it seems like that's something can be corrected within the system.
But if there's already been issues addressed,
right? So you're saying
and,
it has been
and
addressed.
behaviors haven't changed, or it's not, you know, I think we all know, we all sometimes make a one-off, you say something you wish that you hadn't said, that kind of thing. I'm being told that, you know, we have things like social media groups that she was involved with some of the students. And again, nothing that's criminal conduct, nothing that's even suggesting that there was any interest in that way, just inappropriate as an educator to an underage student. We're not talking college professor and an adult. We're talking, you know, a high school teacher who's supposed to be there as a sense of authority. So we'll see what happens. Mrs. Zumudio does have an attorney who is very, very experienced, having been formerly involved with the school board. So if anybody knows the rules and such, she does.
Yeah, sounds like this is just an unfortunate situation all the way around. It's kind of torn the town apart.
It has, because you have parents coming out because their experiences with Ms. Zumudio or their students' experiences have been wonderful. And that the FFA program has helped them with their careers and things like that. No one's disputing that. It's, okay, we take a step back. Is this the best person to be in the classroom? Is this the best person to be the FFA advisor? And unfortunately for the kids that right now are going through the FFA program, they have a new advisor, a temporary advisor who's not up on the whole program, but they had to find someone who met the criteria. And what's really interesting, Matt, is that the FFA actually falls under the oversight of the Arizona Department of Education. Which to me is crazy. I always just assumed it was, you know, the separate organization like Boy Scouts that just happened to be able to use school facilities. It is actually a curriculum, and it is actually under the Board of Education. You have to have an advisor that meets certain criteria.
You have to be a certified teacher.
I don't know if you have to be a certified teacher, but you have to be, you know, on staff. You have to have certain experience. And, you know, we did have from Benson, they did have one of their teams, the aquaculture team that took first place. That gets them considered for national. How's that going to work? We have all of these questions, and I know that the school really doesn't want to say anything because it could be seen as maybe casting aspersions on Mrs. Zumudio before her personnel situation is dealt with.
Okay, so when's the next benchmark we can look for on this?
So there's a very good possibility that there will be a special board meeting called sometime for next week or the week after. I don't think the school board is going to wait until their second Tuesday of April to come in for their regular meeting. I think she's been given the allegation, she's been given her options, and so, you know, give her a little bit of time and she can figure out what she wants to do.
Okay, interesting stuff. Obviously, a really unique situation out there in Benson. Keep reading all of Terri Jo's writing in the Herald Review to stay up on it. myheraldreview.com. Terri Jo, thanks for joining us, and thank you for tuning in.